number of finality. It is the number of judgment. It is the number of ending, if you will. And so 9 feet wide, it was finality, if you will. It was the end. And why then? Why then? It was 90 feet high, because 9 times 10, if you will, is 90. The number 10 is divine order. And so what happened was finality was multiplied by divine order, which gave you the height. I wish somebody helped me. And so what you find here is it was by divine order that King Nebuchadnezzar's order has now come into an end. I wish somebody catch me in here. Here you have a man, y'all, who thought he was all of that and then some. And so he had a dream, if you will, in chapter number 2. And now it is now being fruition in chapter number 3. He just didn't know his reign was almost over. He wanted everybody to bow down to him, but by divine order. He says, I am removing. Y'all do know King Uzziah. He says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. There were so many people, if you will, that was looking at King Nebuchadnezzar. And he says in chapter number 3, this is what's going to happen. He says, you're going to build your finality. So I find here that he built, if you will, this 90 feet high and 9 feet wide, and he set it on the plain of Dura. Now, if you study, if you will, the plain of Dura is really a valley of Dura. If you look at the pretense of it is, it was really a valley. So he says, what you're doing is that you're building your destruction in the valley. Now watch it, y'all. Just talked about him throwing them into hell, and now he's building his image in the valley. I wish somebody catch it. You'll catch it when you get home. But watch this. He builds it in the valley, and the valley is beneath the earth. In order to have a valley, you got to go beneath. I wish somebody help me. They threw him in the fire. That's where it was all ending up. But yet, he in the beginning built his temple in the valley. And this is what I like about it. This is what I like about it, because all of these instruments, if you will, all of these people, I'm sorry, were gathered and they were summoned, and they came running because King Nebuchadnezzar spoke. And so they came running, if you will. And how here they are. They stood before the image and they worshiped the image at the sound. But watch this, watch this. I come to let you know that there's a different sound going on. You got to be careful with the sound. You got to be careful with the sound, because the sound will mess you up. If you're not listening to the right sound, you might bow down, and it wasn't your turn to bow. The sound of God. It's a different sound going on. Not every church has got the sound. Not every ministry got the right sound. They got the instruments playing. I know, I understand that your musician is away, and it's just by divine order, because there wasn't supposed to be a sound in the house. The only sound was to be the word of the Lord. There's a sound. He wants you to catch it. He says there is a sound, but the people heard the sound, and they bowed down to the image at the sound. Wherever they were, whenever the sound was, they fell down and worship. Wherever the sound, they could have been grocery shopping, and when the sound came, they had to fall down and worship. They could have been at work, but when the sound came, they had to fall down and worship. Now you and I both know if we go to the grocery store, ain't nobody falling down. Not me, not on that dirty floor. But the whole pretense behind it is that when there is a sound, and it's the right sound, you got to bow. Oh God, I don't know about y'all. Is there some real worshipers in the house? Because I don't need no music to hear the sound. I don't need no tambourine to hear the sound. I don't need no trumpet to hear the sound. When I hear the sound of the Lord, I just fall down and see, this is what I like about it. I like about it because the people, if you will, the people came and they bowed down. They paid attention to the order, because they understood that if they did not do, then what would happen? Because he had already told them that if somebody doesn't, they will be thrown into the blazing fire. So they realized, I don't want to go in the fire. So to prevent me from not going into the fire, I would just bow down. Now imagine, if you will, there are some folks, I don't know about if it's in Florida, but I know that there are some in Ohio, that just do stuff just to be doing it. Yes. You don't totally agree with it. You just follow the leader. The blind man leading the. You just all follow like little ducks. The leader fall, you. I'll take it back to Ohio. I know this is Florida, so it's a little different. But watch this. It says in verse number 7, it says, therefore, as soon as they heard the sound, they fell down. But there were 3 people who did not fall down. There was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They didn't fall down. And they brought them to the king, and the king said, why won't you serve my God? Why won't you worship the image of gold that I set up? It's all about I. He says, I set it up. I built it. When the sound came, you were supposed to bow before the image. And so I found out that he was furious when the astrologers came to him. I kind of beg to differ because I don't really think, if you will, that he was upset because they didn't bow. God, say it. I think, if you will, he was prideful in the fact that he made an order that somebody decided they wasn't going to pay attention to. Y'all do know about pride, don't you? Pride will mess you up. Pride will make you lose some friends. You think you're going against me, you ain't going against me. But watch this. Here, if you will, the people, they fell down. And so he says there was 3 people who did not fall down, and so he was prideful. He calls them, and he comes and he says, are you not going to bow down? And he says to them, I don't need to explain. See, here it shows me, if you will, that there needs to be some folks who got some backbone. Right, yes. Can I talk real quickly? I just want to talk. I know this is Florida, but in Ohio, we got some weak jellyback Christians. They will go for anything and everything. You throw them a bone, they'll eat it. They'll just do it. Because they're Christian, they're Christ-like, and so they're supposed to take it. Folks do them wrong, they're supposed to take it. Folks talk about them, they're supposed to take it. Because they're Christian. But God says, I need some strong back folks who's going to say, I ain't got to explain to you why I do what I do. Oh, yeah. See, there's too many folks trying to explain why I'm Christian. There's too many folks trying to explain why I love God. I ain't got to explain to you why I love God. Just look at what he's done for me. That's explanation all by itself. You can just look at the things. And I'm not talking about material things, but the reason I can stand up and dress myself, that I got a right mind not to answer your foolishness. And so that's all it was. They decided not to do the foolish things of the world. Come. They decided that it was foolish. You mean to tell me that when a sound comes, I got to bow down to a gold image? Are you crazy? The God I serve, the God I worship, the one who created heaven and earth, you mean I got to bow down to something you made? No. Not when I know somebody who made everything on earth. I'm not going to bow, so I ain't got to explain. This is what I like about it. I like about it because he says in verse number 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, oh Nebuchadnezzar, mind you here, they didn't even reference his title. Yeah, wow. Because when the astrologer came, they said, oh king. Wow. When the people came, they said, oh king. But when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they came, and he said, Nebuchadnezzar, I ain't got time to go through your titles. I don't care about your bishop title. I don't care about your apostle title. I don't care about your elder title. I'm just coming like it is. Look, this is between you and me. This is a personal thing, because you're trying to get me to do something crazy. And if you was acting like a king, you wouldn't tell me to do nothing crazy. So I'm about to call it like it is. I'm about to call you Nebuchadnezzar. So he says in verse number 16, oh Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves, not before you. See, if we are thrown into the, verse number 17, if we are thrown into the blazing furnace, watch this, if we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it. Watch this. It goes on and says, and he will rescue us from your hand. Nebuchadnezzar had the audacity to tell the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that if you do not bow at the sound, you will be subject to my hand. Oh my God. In